So the NELK boys released their highly anticipated NFT project called the Full Send Metacard. Now a lot of people think this is going to be some big scam, some big money play by the NELK boys. So I'm going to look at every angle of this and kind of break this whole thing down for you. I'm going to put on my NFT bullshit detectors and we're going to get to the bottom of this.
You ever sprint up your steps and run out of breath before?
All right, so look, NELK did a podcast with Gary Vee about 2 weeks ago explaining that they wanted to get into NFTs, but they didn't really understand everything about NFTs. They weren't sure about a project they could put together. They wanted it to be something wholesome, and they just weren't sure exactly how they wanted to do it.
I'm really going to speak like a fucking guy who really doesn't know anything, because I don't. I shouldn't even be in this podcast right now because I don't know anything.
But I think the biggest thing, Gary, is why Kyle and I really wanted to talk to you is we have a very loyal fan base.
Yep.
And we haven't launched anything yet. We haven't launched anything yet because we're very mindful of when we launched, what do they get other than the flex?
Correct.
What more can we do? How, if someone goes and spends their hard-earned money, whatever it is, $1,000, $10,000, whatever it is, what do they really get other than the flex?
Fast forward less than 2 weeks and their project, the Metacard, releases and sells out in like a day. This left a lot of people really curious about the timing of the project, but I have my own theory on exactly why they did it. It's too dark. It's too dark in here. So what's it for? What is the card doing? This card was put out to gain capital to build things like casinos, lounges, and put events together. The idea is that people who hold these cards will be able to go to these events or these lounges or casinos at their will. What's made NELK and the Full Send brand so different from the beginning is how about their fans they are. Whether it's events or merch or flying people out, their fans have been the forefront of their success. In this NFT space, what tends to happen is an initial release of an NFT project will be announced 2 weeks before the project actually releases, and it'll create this hype that brings in everybody from the NFT community to buy and flip something instantly. The time between the initial announcement of the Metacard and the release of the Metacard was roughly 24 hours. I don't think NELK had a desire to build up hype around the project because they're NELK, and it was going to sell out anyways. It didn't matter. This 24-hour release made it so news couldn't really spread that quickly, and their fans were going to be the only ones that were going to be able to snatch it up quick enough because they followed them on the socials or they watched their podcast. I think if this was some money grab by NELK, they would have released more than 10,000 Metacards because they could have sold it. And I think they would have given it more time to build up beforehand. Well, how did they make the project so fast? There was no individual art that needed to be made. It was just one single card. They had to throw a couple little marketing pieces together. And other than that, it was going to sell out via tweet or via podcast anyways. So there really wasn't any time that needed to be put in to make something like this. It's not like they can build the casinos or build the lounges beforehand. So they need the capital from the initial sale in order to see what they can do in the first place. Let's say they release this and it sold 5,000 of them. It's going to be a lot different than if they sold out the whole collection. So honestly, there was no time that needed to be put into the back end of this. Honestly, it was release it, get the money, and then figure out what to do later. I also think this Gary Vee podcast was probably recorded about a week before it came out at least. And I also think they had a pretty good idea of what they were going to do and kind of wanted to play dumb as they were talking about it on the podcast. This put out a feeler so everyone could react in comments on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever, and kind of say, hey, I like this idea or I don't like this idea. Hey, I want you to release an NFT. I don't want you to release an NFT. I think it was a smart play on their end. Ironically, this is being called a scam whenever they announced that the utilities of this project are some of the only real-life utilities across the NFT space in general. Most of these NFT projects preach utilities, but are actually backed by 15-year-olds who created art on Fiverr. In general, I think NELK has way too much to lose if they let this project fail. They have legal teams, they have marketing teams, they have their content teams, they have everything behind them they need to be the ones to actually make something like this successful. In a podcast the day after the Metacard was released, Kyle actually put into pretty good words what exactly this whole thing is. Beyond it being a way to get exclusive merch drops, exclusive NFT drops, or exclusive access into their clubs, it actually acts as an investment for NELK and the Full Send brand in general. If you think about it, if they do what they say they're going to do and they make all these cool places that people want to go to or release all this cool merch that people want and you need the card to get in or get the thing, people are going to want the card. So in terms of demand, as the brand grows and people have a higher demand for these things, the price of the card is going to go up because it's going to be worth more. So in a way, it is an investment in the company. Take a look at this clip.
I think the NFT shit's so cool because to me it's like a modern day or like a decentralized way for people to like invest in us. So like the way I understand it, and I don't think many people are doing this, but it's kind of like our fans give us money, right? So we just sold a bunch, so we have the money, and then in exchange we give them a Metacard, and then so they have something, right, that they can verify as theirs. And now we have all this money, and our job is to build shit. So we're gonna launch like physical locations, like we're gonna launch Full Send lounges. We're going to start here and then maybe do one in Vegas, Miami, New York. So we're going to launch like physical shit that's only available for our holders. And then that's just like one of the many things we're going to do, but that'll drive up the price of their Metacard. you know? So it's like they're giving us money, we get the money, we do as much shit possible to drive up the price of their Metacard. So it's kind of like they're investing and getting a return, you know?
And you're taking that money and fueling it into all these different things.
And it sucks that a lot of people in this NFT community are tearing down this project whenever it could literally be the saving grace for how people see NFTs. We should be stoked that this isn't just some pixelated monkey. Another reason why I don't think this is going to be a scam, if NELK wanted to just take this $23 million that they netted and run, they could. However, they are going to make a royalty on secondary sales on the market. So every time someone takes their Metacard and sells it to another person, they're going to make like a 10% royalty on that. So if they do build all these locations and the price of the card does jack up and cards are now selling for $100,000, NELK's going to make 10 grand on every sale of them. I think all of this in general just comes down to trusting the brand and trusting the technology behind NFTs. Something I'll draw a similarity to is season tickets for sports. You can buy season tickets for the New York Yankees, but you don't know if you're going to enjoy any of your time you have at those games. What if you buy season tickets for those games and the Yankees win 2 games all year and get blown out the whole season? It sucks, but at the end of the day, you can't refund it, and it's all a trust investment anyways. If you trust NELK, you buy NELK's card and you hope that they do good things with the card. If you like the Yankees, you buy their season tickets and you hope that you have a good time watching all their games. In the past, NELK has been exposed for a gambling situation they were involved with. Essentially, they had these deals with these online gambling sites where they were getting paid cuts from different things, and they just weren't being transparent about it. A YouTuber by the name of Coffeezilla made a full video on that, so I'll leave that link in the description. You can go check that out. I think the big difference here is the extreme transparency going on between consumers and them and the amount of money they made. If they do just take money and run in this situation, that's pretty much it for their brand. I don't think they can come back from something like that. If you are concerned about that, I would go watch that video and draw the differences between this and that situation, and you'll see that they're not really the same at all. Ultimately, this could be really good or really bad for NFT. This will either be a great display of blockchain technology, or it'll just show that people are in this space to make money and get out. There's a lot riding on NELK because of this, so if you're into crypto, if you're into NFTs at all, don't go against them. Don't be mad at them because you didn't get a card. Don't go on Twitter and shit on them because you think it's going to be a scam. Let's root for them and let's hope for the best. The floor price currently sits around in Ethereum, which is about $2,400. There's been about 7.6 thousand Ethereum traded in general, so the project's done pretty well so far. It's established a nice floor price as it seems. The price is going on a little roller coaster ride here, but it doesn't look like it's dropped below an Ethereum yet, which is good. And again, nothing's been done with this card yet. I don't see this card spiking in price for probably another year or two until they get the things they're talking about up and running. So is the Metacard a scam, and do I look like Stevie Wonder? The answer to one of those is yes, and the other one is probably not. Hey, hopefully I was here to give you some perspective today. Hopefully I helped you think through this, and I wish you the best in your crypto and NFT endeavors. Thanks for checking out OnlyCryptos. See you next time.